Got myself like a bottle of Pepsi. Not exactly good to drink when you're sick, but I mean, I need a little bit of energy, so. And I have some, I have medicine as well I've been taking. Like NyQuil and all that, and Dayquil. I normally do NyQuil because NyQuil seems to work better for me. Dayquil almost never works for some reason. I don't get why, but I don't know if that's just like someone, like anyone else. Robitussin almost never works as well. I don't know. Like I feel like it's weirdly like I have like some medicines do nothing to me. I don't know if this is like a common thing other people deal with, but I don't know. Do people just have like weird like their own like self immunities or something like that? It's weird to me. All right, so I'm trying to think. So this goes up to here, but this by that time it extends outwards pretty good. So I think it goes like that, and then all right, this is gonna be tricky because I have to make it look like it's going like this, like rounded. So song sounds like um Fall Guys music. Like you know the game. So is my how far along is my Discover Weekly right now? Oh, we got a few more songs. We have one, two, three, four, five, five more. All right, and back to the game. All right, so expand this out like three maybe. No, two. Then two. This is really hard to pull off properly. Like, obviously it's not, this ain't gonna be straight up. This is also curving. This is a very hard to pull off detail. Like, that's basically the scope of how high it goes. So, what I have to do is like something like this, and then something like that maybe? Yeah, I think that looks good. But that looks way smaller than the bottom. Also, wait. Oh, wait. I'm stupid. No. So it doesn't go all the way up to that. That's the halfway point. I'm silly. So no, this I can expand this out. One, and then expand this out. Expand this out, and then one, two, and then one, two, three, four, and then we have three there. So one, two, three, one, two, three, four, five. And then, actually not five. One, two, three, 2, 3, 4, and then 5 here. Alright, that should be good. Yeah, that looks sick. Much better. Also, don't... I don't know how I know, like, pull off these decent curves in my head. I just sort of do. Actually, there is something off here. This needs to be... Oop. I can just sort of eyeball it for some reason. I think that should be good. Let's see. It's still a little rough. I'll shrink this one down. And that should look good. Comparatively, I think that's accurate. This, though, I will have to trim because it. I think it ends here. I'll end it there. This line is not needed. Let me just check what my Spotify is, or not Spotify. Yeah, I still have a lot of disk space still, so we're still good. I don't know why my disk space was like freaking out, like, oh my god, you only have an hour left of space. Like, no, it's not. Oh man, this is like hard to pull off, like the sort of like soft turn. Maybe how does this look? I mean, that looks relatively decent. I still need to pick up the sharpness of it. Maybe if I expand it this one more line. How does that look? Nah, I think I nailed it. I mean, it's a little wider than what it is normally, but so are some of the others. Are a little bigger. Just the fact that they sort of need to be, because for better, like, oh, it's a large room, you can put stuff in it. So I think I could allow that. It's just a leads for better gameplay avenues. The other thing though is that's a 4, so I need to find a 4-way entrance. I mean, this is a 4-way, so maybe these ones we enter through here now. That does allow me to allow for interesting gameplay for either side. What about if I do it here? Yeah, I think that'll look good. It's symmetrically unsymmetrical. That's what I should say for this. Like, you have the entrances there, They're symmetrical with each other, but these top two are not symmetrical with these two, but they are symmetrical with each other. So, leads for a more dynamic, I guess, play, I guess you would say. And it's easy to remember when you're playing as well. The top two enter to the middle, while the bottom two enter to the I guess technically also the middle of the shroom, but to the yeah, you know what I mean. And yes, it is Yuan Owen is her. I'm not sure, like, I didn't know that not in, yeah, is it Yuan Owen was her? It's the embodiment of the Scarlet Devil. I did not know. Is this Zune's own, like, upload? Let me look here. I think it is. It looks like all the Toho music is on this channel, on this Spotify page. Interesting. I can't translate the name of this, though. Let's copy the link and put it into this, into Firefox, so I can search it. Ba 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 ba. And let me. I always hate how websites will block you from inspect elementing their website, especially when they're not like trying to hide anything. Like, all right, so there's the name, and now let me try to copy the text here. All right, and now translate. All right, type it in. Shanghai Alice Fantasy. That's what the translation means. Oh yeah, so that Team Shanghai Alice, formerly known as Zoonsoft, is a Japanese. Oh, so this is officially their upload. Spotify. Interesting. Did not know that they had one. It's actually pretty cool. I wonder if many people know that they have one here. I mean, it has 96,000 monthly listeners, so I mean, it has plenty, but I'll post this in chat because this is actually, I did not know that they had one. There it is. It won't show up on stream, of course, because I have that disabled. I thought I re-enabled that. Oh, wait, no, I re-enabled it onto the other chat box. Alright, that's whatever. But, good to know. Also, let me show you guys here the, no, I know. Oh, come on. I want to show you the alert system noises that I put some time into. Exit out of that. Oh my god, there we go. So for example, I have one of the cheaper ones is this one. Like, this is a 1 per stream per person redeem.
Hi, how are you?
So, and you enter a stream, it will play the "Hi, how are ya" SFX. Just to, so if someone wants to redeem their like 200 of their flame orbs, I just have that, as I said earlier, this is temporary. But we have those. We have this one.
Huh?
That will play if someone like, if I say something weird or whatever. This one is just for whatever, when people want to be a little funny. Little fart SFX. If I die or someone else's dies. Lego breaking sound effect. We got a yippee sound effect. Or people when they want to celebrate something. For a oof moment. And what's fun about the oof moment thing is it randomizes between 2 different oofs. The Roblox oof and the Minecraft oof. So, and then when something funny or good happens, or I don't know how you would really, like when I knock out an enemy or something like that, you would play this. Then we have, of course, the classic Vine Boom. I try to keep the SFX pretty low key, so it's not like distracting over music or game audio or whatever. If I decide, oh, I'm gonna be go to eat something, chat wants to, oh man, he's going to eat something. All right, let's play some Minecraft eating noise, something, you know, nonsense like that. When something is sicko mode, I put descriptions on each one, and I'm like, for this one, I don't know what's a good time to use this. Maybe when something sick happens, you decide. There's a quick little like noise there. Of course, you also have the metal pipe SFX. Classic, loud but classic. And then we have some of the SFXs that I've had issues getting to work properly because Rockstar hates people using their sound effects for some reason. So we got the wasted SFX. This one I had to crustify it to work. And then we get into failure SFX when something poorly, like something happens poorly and it's sad or what that I did or whatever. You know, SpongeBob classic. Then we have the suspense SFX. These are starting to get into the longer SFX sound effects. So they're more expensive. Like that one was 1,000 points. Then we have the wait what? This one I also was surprised that it wasn't allowed, and so I had to trim it down to get it to work. Like wait what? And then this one I had to ultra crustify to get it to work, which is from Rockstar again. Mission complete. And then this one is if I say, for example, I'm bullying chat, and chat is upset that I'm bullying them, they'll play. They could play this.
Why you bullying me?
Stuff like that. Then we have a mission failed SFX.
Mission failed. We'll get them next time.
And these ones are a little more expensive, the voice ones, because they are more distracting in a VOD. And then we have enemy spotted.
Enemy spotted.
That one I like a lot. And then we have FBI open up. And then we have two very expensive. I won't play the secret one because it's secret on purpose, but the bad of a more I don't even know how I say it. A Magwarn hub dragons is this. So that's a fun one. That's one of the second most expensive at 10,000 redeem channel points. The secret one is 50,000, so it's gonna be a while for anyone to ever reach that one, and I won't play that. So you will have to choose to decide to play that when you get that many points. So that's a little showcase of some of the noises, and I can add more in the future. People want some. And I can replace some if people really want some. So, but yeah, that was that was last week. Like I was working on as well. Partially why I didn't stream last night, or not last night. Yeah, last week is between that and setting up the stuff for Vinny's remakes and reimaginings stream stuff. So, but. Thankfully, I have a bunch of not backburn, but back stuff for my my VOD channel to keep on posting content even though I'm not streaming. It does suck though that last week I wasn't sick, but then this week I am sick, so it ends up like causing almost like a 2-week issue of not being able to put out decent stream content. But I'm fine with putting a little chill stream night. Doing some Minecraft with you guys, and listening to some tunes. Plus, I can showcase some of the stuff I have, so can't play too hard. But I am definitely feeling better. I wanted to stream yesterday, but I ended up feeling really bad, really ugh. But I have been getting better, so I'm taking my medicine and all that nonsense. I'm a lot more or less brain fogged than I was yesterday. Yesterday I really couldn't think straight on things when I'm working on it. So overall I'm happy. But outside of that though, I'm trying to think of what else I been doing that's worth commenting on. I made a new not new but a thumbnail for the Pokemon Presents before I started the stream today, for when I get that done. I was thinking of doing scheduling it, but I have no idea if I will be up to stream it, so I don't really want to put the pressure on me to do that, because if I miss it, I'll feel really bad that people were like, "Oh man, he's gonna stream this. I'm gonna check it out," and then I don't show up because I'm still sleeping or something. So I don't want to put anyone down on that. So eventually, I will definitely watch it though. It's like it's not like I'm not gonna watch it. I'm definitely going to. It's just that'd be hard to like avoid spoilers though, of it because I'm in so much like Pokemon related content areas. It's hard to not get spoiled by these things. But I will try to my best to avoid spoilers. But obviously, it's most likely gonna have Pokemon CA news. Probably some Pokemon TCG news because we already got like a sort of a little teaser spoiler thing of it possibly being we're getting like an Arceus sort of TCG pack coming. I think it's not really. I don't feel like people really care if they're getting spoiler that we're getting an Arceus TCG pack. So it's not like that crazy, but it's good to know we're still getting content of that. I've sort of fell a little off of the TCG stuff, like of the actual like the game. I did start to get picking back up onto it though, so it's not like I fully fell off. I sort of took a break from it. But outside of that though, I'm trying to think of what other things I want to do. Like I said, I want to continue Radical Red. I probably will get activate the one cheat code thing to do like gifts or whatever they're called, like care packages I think it was called. Because with those care packages, you get the items that you would normally get if you were like you would leave the content off enemies and all that. So I feel like that just would be very beneficial to just for a casual, chill playthrough. So I might do that. Because in a way, I'm not really doing it for the challenge run aspect of it. I'm mostly doing it for like chill playing for the casual quality of life content, among other things. So. So I'm pretty happy with that. It's just like I just don't want to talk about that, talk through the game while sick. I feel like no one really enjoys when someone like plays an RPG or something like that, and the partially like half the VOD of it is like, oh man, he's sick. So that's why I'm just focusing it on for Minecraft stuff. Because while it is like a sort of like a podcast stream in a way, it's sort of I want to put something out just to chill, show that I did this and I focus on this and I'm building it. And if people really want to see how I made it, I have a whole video of me just building it. And maybe like when I put the trailer out for the video or of like on the Steam profile page, I could have literally a YouTube link to this with me with it sped up with me building it, because that'd be pretty cool to have. But yeah, it's the core idea, I guess. Not sure how I'm gonna do that though, but you know, I'm pretty happy with doing this though, because it is pretty fun. It's chill. I get to play some more Minecraft. I always enjoy playing it. I'm always like sort of a builder type. I enjoy building in games. I've always been like sort of like, man, I love tinkering with things. I love making unique stuff in a game. It's sort of like why I like web design stuff. I like making graphical art stuff. It allows creative juices to flow. What else? What else? sort of wondering. So obviously, there's probably not too many people watching on the stream here. But if you're watching the VOD and you made it to this part of it, what kind of stuff have you guys been building in Minecraft, or like sort of projects have you worked on or built up? Like, have you like a long-term server or a long-term build that you've been working on, or stuff like that? I know a lot of people have like long-term like sort of towns that they build for years and they keep on building onto, expanding. Myself, I haven't really done stuff like that, like actual like full one single world and built for years. I sort of think it would be cool to do, but I've never really committed to something like that. But I do find that kind of attractive or attracting. No, yeah, I guess it'd be attractive to do. I don't know how you would word that. Interesting sort of avenue to try out. Also, just to, if you haven't seen the last VOD, the idea is for each one of these corners, so Vinesauce has like 4 main channels on YouTube. They have the full sauce, which is like the blue colored orientated. Then you have the extra sauce or uncut sauce, which is the red. Then we have the main channel, which is green. And then we have the Twitch Clips channel. And that's generally the core. I might actually technically there is also the no, I think that'll be a good idea. That's good. Because I was trying to think like I could maybe make this green, but no, that'll take away from it, and I was able to make like one like TikTok, but no. That sort of defeats like the main like YouTube sort of stylization of it all. So yeah, I'll go over that. Will this be the 4 main YouTube channels, which are the main avenues of exposure and all that. But it also allows, in gameplay wise, you can say, oh, person was in purple room, person was in green room. It allows for easy gameplay callouts, and usually the players will be able to easily tell, like, oh, he's in that room. Okay. I will put some signifiers on the outside of the room on the walls here. They'll probably like be like, oh, be like a purple, whatever, you know, just so that people can like, okay, I go over there for it. I won't have windows into the inside area though. This is the fact that I don't want it to be too easy for people to see, like, oh, this person did this. So also, I'll definitely update that texture. I do not like this modern emerald texture. Like, I 100% prefer the old one. Let me show you. This one I 100% prefer. This I don't. Ugh, God, that's like really bad. I don't mind this texture. This texture's fine. This one, not so good fan of. Prefer it being more vibrant. Some of the textures I like. I don't like this. I hate that for programmer art, they use the updated programmer art or updated cobblestone. I prefer the OG cobblestone that they had. That was far more abrasive than that. But like, for example, they have, where is it? Gravel. Where's gravel? They don't even have the OG gravel. Like this is not even like programmer art gravel. Like there's if I could probably download real quick to show you guys like my absolutely favorite. I have to open up Firefox in 1 second because there is an OG. Alright, let me look. Pokemon, not Pokemon, no. Minecraft. OG texture pack. 1.15.2. I want to have like I think it's like called a gold or golden or something like that. Let me look. Minecraft texture pack with classic textures. 1.15.2. Classic Minecraft texture packs. Okay, this might be it. Default HD, no. Programmer art continuation project. This might be it. Let's see if this has the textures that I want. And they have legacy, so that might be it. Yeah, that looks like it. So I'll download this real quick. Download texture pack. Oh wait, 1 second. That doesn't have the version that I need. Does it support 1.15.2? 1 second, guys. Like I said, this is a chill stream, so don't expect too much craziness, or not craziness, but you know what I mean. Alright, here we go. Versions 1.15. I guess there's no really 0.2 for that, so it's just 1.15. Alright, here we go. Alright, that's kind of funny. It's a texture pack that just makes the game look like it's old, low res, like... That's funny. Not what I'm looking for, but it's funny, though. Maybe 1.16 would work for this? Programmer art nether? No. I guess maybe programmer art plus plus? Also, it's interesting that there is, never mind, I was about to say something, but I don't know. Yeah, I can't seem to, maybe this one might have it. Veteran. I mean, this is OG textures here. I mean, this could work. Yeah, I'll download this. This will work for it. I'll download this. Let me go over to the game again. Come on, where is it? Here and then here. Options, resource packs, open resource folder. Alright, and then I could... Where is it? The folder. Alright, copy this. Then go over to here. Copy it here. Paste. Save. Alright, saved. And now I should be done. And then resource. Alright. This is technically a modern one. It should work still. Let's see. How does this look? Nice, it does. It has the old ones. Now this has like the OG texture packs. Like this is the gravel I used to love. It's OG, super ugly, but like I love it. That's the texture I loved. And also the cobble, like I was mentioning. Love this cobble. Far more like detailed to it. Neon grass I never really had any issue with, but I do like it. Same with the trees. I like the trees. Just to like it's a whole bunch, like the OG netherrack I love. It's a lot of these textures. I love the OG ones. mean, it's my definitely my nostalgia, but you know, we all have nostalgia somewhere. But yeah, I can't deny. Like for example, the glass. The glass definitely isn't like the best anymore. But I like having like this OG look. It's vibrant. Love it. Um, yeah. Though I do want to. Let me just download one more texture pack real quick. I want to get a Doku Craft. Because that is personally my favorite texture pack. It's always been really. Let me go with Doku Craft. I feel like high would be the best one to go with. 1.15. Yeah, this one. And let me just save this over here. I'm gonna download 2 because there is another alternate Doku Craft texture pack that I like. Dwarven. Here we are. They have the 1.15. They do. Nice. Let me download this one too in there. All right. Now, let me go over here. Resource packs. Apparently, only the one loaded. Weird. Maybe they didn't fully save yet. A second. No, okay. Not gonna use Optifine. Sorry. But yeah, this is the OG. Like, I love this texture pack. Actually, well, I technically like the darker one more. But let me just disable this one. And this. Oh, there we go. We got the Dwarven. Alright, here we go. Now here's my... I always use this one. This one was my personal favorite. It's a little darker. I love the texture work on this. There's a lot of green on this. Neat. Smooth quartz is green. That unironically fits really well. But yeah, it's like... I just love the Dwarven Minecraft texture packs. This looks so nice. It's just the texture work, the pixel art, Endstone brick is like animated. Like, look at this. That's so crazy and cool. It looks so neat. Like, there's so much stuff that you can like appreciate a lot. Like, obviously, Optifine connects to textures on a lot of these things, but I don't have Optifine just due to the fact that Optifine has sort of been like meh as of late. And I know this is an older version, so technically it would be fine, but I have a better sort of thing than Optifine, so like the emeralds look so good too. But I'll play with this texture pack for a little more. Also, I feel like maps haven't been really impacting the visual quality, so let me increase that. Yeah, that looks better. It still hasn't impacted my FPS, so okay, so that's fine. No more draggies in the distance. Alright, so yeah. This is a fun little showcase there. I won't have them on now though. Just the fact that it does interfere with building in a way. But let's continue on now. So this ended up here. Technically whatever. That's fine. I feel like it should be further out. Like, it would at least be equal to there. Let me try that. Nah. I feel like that's a fine shape. I mean, it doesn't need to be 100% accurate. That's the main thing I should try to keep in mind. It's a little wider there, and it's a little thinner here, but that entrance thinner and opens up to be a little wider up the back area. That's fine. It still looks like the vine shroom. It still is the shape of the vine shroom. That is the core thing. Not many people are gonna like, oh my god, this doesn't look really 100% accurate. but it does look a little off. I feel like it needs to be like a little larger. Like it needs to be like out and then this way. All right, I have to tweak it. I can't live with that. I'm a perfectionist. All right, to that way, to this way. Then this way. All right, and then 3, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 1, 1. Then what's over here? So 1, 2, 3, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. Oh wait, no. Yeah, there we go. 1, 2, 1. All right. Let's see how this looks. So it looks a little better. I still want to get that up by here. So 1. And then this, how much did I expand that by? By 3, so be here. How would that look? Yeah, that looks decent. Let's see. And I will, it's a little too flat there. So what I will have to do is, I think I'll have to pull this back a little more to cut this down. So this will be a 2, 2, 2. How does that look? I mean, that doesn't look too bad. You maybe pull this in more. And it won't be 100% like. Yeah, I think that looks good. It's not 100% accurate to the thing, but it does fit better with the design. It's as close as I can get to the edge of this. Yeah, I think that looks good. Let me just swap out the inner tiles here now. Alright, there we go. And let me just do the walls here. Oops, pressed the wrong block there apparently. Oh wait, I've been placing the wrong blocks. Oops. Oopsie doopsie. Easy fix. Alright, there we go. Pop that there. Now do these ones. I think once I get the inside walls and inside area done here is when I'll probably call it a night. Like I said, I didn't want to do too long tonight. I just want to do this and then that over there and then probably just the outer walls. Then we should be good. Oh, wrong tiled in. 1 second. There we go. But mostly just wanted to put a little leeway, or not leeway, but a little work into this. Because I do, like I said, I do want to do Pokemon Presents, which is at 9 a.m. EST, which is really earlier for me, but since I do sort of want to wake up for it, I also need to get to bed early. So, but, and the time is, let me check what time it is right now, because I don't even know what time it is. Let me close this. It's currently 10:30, so. And I've been streaming for, let me just double check here, 2 hours, so. Also, let me do something real quick here. Alright, there we go. Thankfully, I had a, I have my chat here a little filtered. Apparently, a bot came in, and I didn't even see it because it was auto-modded. So thankfully, I had a, I had the term already blocked. I am, oh, didn't mean to do that one. 1 second. Alright, there we go. Oh, come on. We here? Yeah, here we go. Alright, now we're set. And then over here. This is one of those dumb channel bots that say like, get cheap viewers, stupid shit like that. Like, no, that's how, you don't get cheap viewers. You get a ban for that. You're an idiot if you take those sort of things and like, oh man, I'm gonna get some like free cheap viewers. This will work perfect for me. It's like, if you're trying to go for like views, like you're going in for the wrong, you're going in at the wrong way. Like, streaming in a way is more so just a casual chill. And just like, just having fun with a community. If you really wanted to get like views and all that, and people actually watching and engaging with your content, like YouTube is a little more the avenue you should go for, because streaming is, you're only up for so long. It's not permanent content for the most part, unless you do VOD stuff. And so if you're trying to go, oh man, I'm gonna boost my views up on Twitch with a bot, this will be perfect. Wow. It's like no, it's temporary. You don't get boosted. People don't search based off, oh man, who's the #1 viewer in say category. I like no. You just look like an idiot. You're spending money, you're wasting your money, and you're giving it to someone that doesn't even deserve the money. It's like, come on, man. Like, alright. Doing good so far. I do think this TTT map is going to be really nice. I think people are going to really like it. Due to the fact that it's both technically an indoor, it's an indoor map that's relatively tight. It's very clear sight lines in most areas. You pop around. Like there are areas of like sneak attacks. So for example, like you come over here, you can chill in here with some friends, whatever, have a little chit chat, and then you pop on out. And then you're like, oh man, I gotta get out of there. You can either have this exit. I probably will have a doorway or something here to go down or up. I don't know. I still have to figure that out. Or you can go like, oh man, I'm gonna go over here. Pop in here, chill. Or say for example, like you're a T, you go on, alright, I kill those people in there. I come run around, shoot down these people here, and then you get the T win. And like whatever in here. Also another thing here, perfect C4 placement. Put a C4 like right here, plop it here. Can't really tell it's there unless you're coming in through there and you're like, oh my god, I see a C4 on the diving board. Like, let me look here. You come in here. Alright, yeah, you could probably see the C4 there. I mean, it would probably be better if you put it like there, but I guess then it'll be a little harder to see. Or put it literally right at the end of it. That'd be amazing if you do that, because that's a little harder to see from the doorways. But yeah. Yeah, if you put them on there, you probably do it like, if you're like standing here, you place it like, oh, I'm putting it right here. But yeah. Like I said, there's gonna be a bottom floor. There's no gonna be like second floor thing. It's just gonna be the roof. And what I'll probably do is I'll probably do it like it will cascade up to this area. These walls are gonna be really high up, and then the center area here is gonna be a little bit like a dish almost. And it will just be like a flat. And so like you if you're up on the roof area, from the outside skirts, you get up here, because what's gonna happen is I'm gonna try to make the roof flush with the up area over here. So technically, once you're up over here on the floor stuff, you can literally like climb on top of the roof here, look down into the pool area, and see what's down in there. You won't be able to break the glass. This will mostly be you can look through and see what's happening, but that's it. Because I don't want it to be like too cheap, like, oh my god, you're in here, you think you're safe, whatever, you can kill a T. No. You can kill someone down here while you're not, and someone's up above. They can still see your character model, but a lot of T servers, like TTT servers, they will not like punish. They can't. There's a rule, you can't kill it based off the model. So, and it's good to, and that is a good rule generally, because it allows you, for a map maker, to keep that in mind when you're making a map. because then you could still allow entranceways, or not entranceways, but ways for people to see people, but also not get punished for it. Alright, and then 2, is that 2? Yeah, it's 2. God damn it. How many is that over there? Also, I think my Spotify on a... Yeah, it's on... Alright, so let me swap over to a different playlist real quick. Because currently it's just on a continuation thing. Let me go on my liked songs. Let's see what we got here. Alright, that's fine. For some reason, my Spotify, my liked song playlist, it almost always goes into Sonic. I don't even have that many liked Sonic songs on it. I literally even went through the other night to purge a lot of them. But, I mean, I like the music. It's just like, why is it, like, favorite so much? 1, 2, 3, 4. Alright, and then... I think that's right. 1, 2, 3, 4. So 4, and then it's a 3 long one. 4, and then a 3. And then after that is a 3 long as well as a extension. Alright, nice. I feel like I should extend the top here though. Like, so that it actually like goes higher. Maybe something like this. How does that look? Maybe. Actually, let me shrink this part down a little. Oops. Maybe something like that. Let's see. I mean, it's still like way too thick. Like, I mean, this is good distance. It's just this is just not. I mean, it has to go like this. Try that. So. So 1, 2, 3. I think that's probably the correct way to do this here. So Yep, I think that's probably the best way to do that. It does curve it properly. It is as thin as it is properly. Okay, I guess yeah, we nailed it there. It took a little bit, but I don't like how flat that is, but that is approximately how it looks. Maybe if I do like something like this. Actually, let me pull this down one. Looks a little better doing that. Maybe if I expand this down one more. Alright, now that looks better. Okay. Yeah, I think we got it now. It just took a lot of trial and error there, but we finally found the proper sizing for it. It still is pretty large, but it is relatively accurate now. Let me just now trim this part. Alright, nice. Now, let me just do the bottom of these. Alright, and... come on. Alright, there we go. That's all finished there. And now we head over to the other side, and now we just duplicate what that looks like. We didn't change anything there, so it's just mostly the outside area that we changed. So with that in mind, let's see. So that is 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's 4 blocks tall. So it would be like this and this, right? Yeah. And then here again. Alright, what's playing next? I wonder. Oh, nice. And then another 2, and then a 1. And then 1, 1, 1. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 ones. So I need 5 of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And now 2, 1. 2, 1, and then 2, 2, 2, and then these 3. Alright, and that should be good. Alright, nice. So that's set there. Alright, I think that looks good size-wise. I mean, obviously I still have to do a rounded on the inner. It rounds out a little more, as well as the top. But I think for the patterns, that looks pretty good. I probably will have to fix this part. This feels a little awkward because it's like this rounds, but then it goes like it straightens out and then it goes back rounding again. I probably will have to push this down, maybe. Let's see. I can probably do that now. It shouldn't be too much of an issue to do though. It's literally just moving it down by one. Wait, what? Oh. Wait, how did I get that block? Oh, I see. I already had that in my set. I may actually just make it like too thick. Like sort of like a balcony almost. How does that look? I think that looks better. Looks a little more rounded. I mean, it's still... I might have to expand this a little more. I mean, with this, though, since now I do have it like that, I can expand the thing a little. So it's like... No. Let's see if I can expand this out. How does that look? See, no, it's not rounded. So I need a... How do I fix that? I would probably have to go like out more. Try that. So I'll go with there, and then 2 here, 3 here, 2 here, and then 1 there, and then 1 there, and then 1 here. How does that look? Is that rounded? I mean, almost. I think I have to do this area here, and then it'll be nice and round. So let's pull this up, and then these two. Still something here. I have to expand this out more. Oh, and there we go. Apparently, I ran out of space on my disk because of Minecraft is for some reason just takes up a lot of storage. I don't understand why. So I'll just probably pull this off of off Twitch then and just uploaded it. I'm fine with that, but it's annoying that I have to do that. Yeah. It's like each VOD is... Let's see. It's like each VOD here for it is like almost like 15 to 26 gigabytes each. Which is nuts. It should not be that much for Minecraft. But it is apparently. I'll probably I don't know. I'll just delete these because I do not have any real reason to keep them if I'm just to be uploading off of off Twitch anyway. So also good music choices here so far. All right. Back to what I was doing. Expand this. I think that is rounded. All right, that looks good. So now I just have to replicate it on the other side here. Alright, and then this expands out. Let me see how that looks. Okay, is that proper? 1 second. No, that doesn't look good. Let's turn that down. Happy. Alright. Alright, that looks good there. And now I'll expand this block. And then... Wait, I'm confused now. Oh, I see. I expanded this down. This whole thing here. Right? Yeah. And then now I expand this tile down. And then expand this up. I think it's like 3, right? And then there's 4 left. Let's 2. Wait, what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, I must have miscounted at one point. What? Oh wait, no. I think it's because I actually did try to replicate it 100% exactly, like off center slightly. So it is slightly different. As long as it looks rounded, that's all that matters for me. So that's rounded on the right, and then I just need to expand this a little more. And then this one. I think I have to do, it's something with the inner that feels off. How does that look? I mean, that looks pretty decent there. Looks rounded. Yeah. Alright, that looks good. Now, gameplay-wise, let's see. I mean, this is pretty nice. It has a little, like, corridor area. Can't really see out on the, except for right here, so that's cool. Get around here. So gameplay-wise, not too bad. I think it adds a little flavor to it. So there's like a little like cubby hole you can hide in. They can't really tell if someone's like out here, and they can't really tell like, oh, what's happening out there. Yeah, and then I think I like this little like overhead here because it sort of like allows you yeah, I think that looks good actually. It adds a little like flavoring to it as well as like a little detailing. Though I will add one just for balance. Hell yeah. Okay, once again, Sonic is very favored by Spotify for some reason. Alright, there we go. I think that looks good. But now let's go over purple. What purple block can I use for Twitch? I mean, these, of course, the purple block can work. Is there any other nice purple blocks that, like, Twitch-wise? I guess purple would work, good. It's not really the Twitch purple that I would go for usually. I don't want to go with wool. Wool's too meh. I guess we'll just go with the normal purple block. Alright, I think we're almost done here. Alright, there we go. So we got Twitch clips, main sauce, full sauce, and uncut or extra sauce. I think that looks good. And let me just fix up the edges here since they do a little curve outward a little. Alright, so you know, it uses this color, so like that. Let's see. Maybe. Actually, wait, no. It's like here. And then it goes up.
Dude, I don't know. I'm gonna tweet it out. The game has
No, that's way too weird. How does that look? I think it curves a little bit on the inside here, so let me do it like this. And let me then let's expand this because it looks a little weird to have it like that.
Well, we're not good at melee, but we make beats. Make the beats.
Yeah, I think that looks good. And then we'll have to do the same on the other side. The alternate exit, I don't know. It might be, I don't know, I have to figure that out. I do like how that looks though, because then it allows for like a little cover, like a cover area in that corner there. The chill, maybe put like a little blockade in front of it. Same with over here, since this will be basically the same concept here. Let me just double check. So it pops out one and then up one. All right. And then how long is that? Let's see. So I currently have 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then we go down in 1. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 7, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So then another 7, and then a 5. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's odd. 1 second. Oh, look at that. I think I expanded that one. That was 4 blocks there. What about here then? No, it's 4. You know, this is 3 here. I have to double check this. Yeah, it's 4. Okay, so I did expand that by 1 by accident, I think. And how did I do that? 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. So there's. Did I add an extra 1? Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Wait, no, it wouldn't be that one. It'd be in the back here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No. I'm so confused. How did I do this? 1, 2, 3, 4. So I have 4 2s there. 1, 2, 3, 4 2s there, and then 3. Two, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, 5. Okay. How the hell did I do this now? How do I fix this? I'm so confused now. How do I fix this? Do I just expand? Well, how do I have an extra then? If there's an extra here on that side, that means that expands this down one. But then that would mean that I would have less than one. Oh my god, this is so confusing to me. Like I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And there's 4 on this side, meaning that it would technically... Alright, let me count up here. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. So there's 4 1, 2s. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. And there's another 1, 2 here. So I have an extra 1, 2. I mean, that could be, I could just say, oh, that's intentional to match the actual vine shrooms, like, in balance. I mean, it sort of is accurate to what it looks like. So confused. I mean, it is accurate, like, relatively. It looks accurate because of how it is. That's very descriptive. It is how it is. It's accurate to, yeah, blah blah blah. How do I balance? I mean, whatever. It's fine. It's fine. It's this one block difference. If people notice it, they're being ultra nitpicky. Alright, there we go. And now let me fill this in. Oop. Alright, there we go. And now the top. Top is relatively soft curvature. I'll do, so that would go 3 to 4, and then to 5. I just want to properly replicate this. 3 to 4, 5, then the 6, and then again the 6 here. Then 7. Alright, so that'd be 8 actually. And how's that look? I think that looks pretty damn good. Let me expand the render distance to 10. Oh, in the cloud. Let me turn the clouds off real quick. Alright, let's see. Comparatively, it does, I mean, that hole in the top right is sort of visually mixing me up here. Like, usually this would be tighter. Trying to think of, like, how else this is a little slightly off in some ways. I mean, being off isn't the end of the world. It's more so a representation of it, less than a accurate one-to-one. If it was one-to-one, I would probably just make like grab one of those mods that take an image or whatever and then place it in, and then I would build up from it. But that's boring. This is more flavorful. Yeah, this looks fine. I like it. Now, the idea is, for this, though, is I need to set up some chill spots. So, we already know that doors are going on on these areas. But I don't want you to be able to look. Oh, I could look over into there. There's gotta be something, maybe like another entrance, or I don't know, something that will block whatever. And also to note, going into here, there's gotta be something here, I feel, but it's because of the fact that this is technically gonna be underground, because the road up above goes up, you know, slants upward. So this is gonna be technically underground. It's gonna be like another like building of sort. I don't know what, but it will be something. Maybe not building, but like a spot of sorts. I'm not sure what. Maybe like a garage. Maybe there's an underground garage to get into, or maybe like there's a like a stage area. Maybe there's like an entertainment spot for people to like drink and watch Grey Leno too. I don't know. I have to figure that out as I continue making this. Like all the external stuff, is gonna be a little more like wild, like not wild, but a little more unique. But yeah, hopefully I can. The Twitch VOD stuff isn't going to be too crazy to deal with, because I'm pretty sure it's gonna keep the Twitch VOD is gonna have the music, like the Twitch music in it, which is gonna be annoying, but if Minecraft is just gonna take up that much space on recording, well, I mean, that's just gonna be how it be. It's crazy to me that Minecraft takes so much space. But it is what it is. I have to get I definitely have to get like an external drive for my VODs, because it is sort of annoying having to free up space after every stream and then clear out stuff and, you know, all that nonsense. Alright, and that looks good. Let me grab some. Well, I don't want iron doors for this. I want to have matching doors in a way. Where is it? Here we are. You know, it's in redstone, right? Yeah. So for the purple, I would love to have purple doors. One thing I want to do is I want to make some custom textures for this. This is why I'm sort of leaning into using like default, because then I can make some custom Minecraft textures of like certain doors or whatever. For example, I can make some purple doors, for example. And then over here I can make some green doors. But for now, let's use complementary doors. Like emerald and forest, whatever it works. Actually, no, that was the wrong door. Wanted jungle. And then over here, redstone, I think I'll just do iron. And then for full sauce, like for example, probably for the red door, I would probably use the red nether doors, and then the blue doors I would use the blue nether. But since I don't have those right now, I'll just use these. Alright, there we go. Let me just increase the size of these walls. And then I should be good for tonight. And also I need to just fill in that ground there. like I said, it was just a chill night. Just building into Minecraft. Nothing too crazy. Just wanted to put in some time, put some work into this, so I'm not distracted by anything. Because one of the main things is a house of doing these streams is I don't feel like I get distracted by things because I'm able to focus on both playing as well as the fact that I'm streaming, so my full attention is on this. It's sort of like almost a ADHD benefit for me to have it fully occupy what I'm doing. And it's satisfying because I'm doing multiple things at once, and in a way, as well as the fact that I'm always having I feel like I'm doing something worthwhile. Because people do seem to be interested in the stuff I do when I play. I get a lot of views on my VOD channel and likes and all that, so it gives me positive reinforcement in that sense. Alright. Alright, there we go. So what I'm thinking is what I'm going to do is probably it'll go up to here, I think, the road or the buildings. You're not going to be able to enter the buildings. That's the one thing. The buildings are more so going to be like facades. When you're playing, it's just basically the barrier. And they're going to surround it, and it goes up. Yeah, I think that'll be pretty cool. I'll probably maybe do roofs on them, though, just in case, because if you're going to be up, if, say, for example, you're on the roof up here, like here, and you look down, you're going to see, like, nothing behind the building. So I want to probably extend the roofs. And if people get up on the roofs, it's whatever, I don't care. It's sort of its own gameplay element, but yeah. Let me just increase these up so everyone is like 3 blocks high. But yeah, I'm pretty happy with how this is turning out, though. I think by the time this will be basically done for May, though. I feel like for what I just have to do, especially when I take it over in the Gmod, it's not going to take too long. I just have an annoyance with the porting over to the actual, like, the shop, the Steam workshop, because the tools that do that is just so annoying to work with. At least for me. I feel like they're like, it's so archaic. You have to use like different supplementary like programs and all that nonsense that it just gives you a headache when you're trying to put anything on the workshop or Gary's Mod. Alright, and we're just about done. And there we go. Let's place these last 2, and we're good. Alright, and I think we're done. It was pretty good build. We basically just finished these out. Just for some plans of what I plan on building more here is I'm probably gonna build, like, for example, over here I might set up like some like ammo. One of these are probably gonna be like an ammo deposit areas. What would make the most sense for ammo in one of these? I mean, extra sauce could be like, say, extra ammo. So this could be the ammo area. Full sauce, I could probably put guns in there for people that need guns pick up. I put some probably guns in other areas too, but that's probably like the main area where you grab guns from. And then these would be like the main chill out areas, like two of the chill out locations, so you can chill. Outside here, though, I won't put anything that obfuscates the center circle, but I will put like something here and something here, maybe like some tables and lounge area to chill. I maybe put like it's like a sort of like, what do they call it, like a soda machine here, alongside the walls as well. On the outside of the building, I'm gonna use some of my old graffiti textures I use in another map that I help supply textures with on the outside. I'm gonna make a lot of custom like posters and such in this map, because in my past maps I always try to be super authentic to Minecraft using only Minecraft textures, but I want to sort of expand a little more out there and use little custom textures here and there. But yeah. Also, what is this song? This is official, but what is these lyrics? I don't remember the song. Throw It All Away lyrics. I never heard the song. Like, what game is this from? Let me check. Sonic Adventure 2. Yeah, I don't remember this at all. But yeah, outside of that, like I said, there's gonna be a bottom floor under the water here. There'll be water in here. I won't fill it up with water in Minecraft because I have to do a specific sort of water thing in Gmod itself. My God, who is singing this? This is definitely not Crush 40. Oh, I see. So I think this is like the Japanese music artists for this. I've never heard this. I guess maybe this was only in the Japanese version that they had lyrics. But yeah, there's not gonna be any second floor. I might have rafters up here because some servers they give you the ability like to double jump or whatever up to higher rafters, and someone could be like up here chilling, just looking out at people, which I'm fine with. Rooms are going to be self-secluded. To get down into the area down below, I probably will have something either here, or as I said, there's probably you're going to be able to go into a room up in the back here, which, yeah, that will be the entrance to that. Yeah, that's the core of it. And then, as I said, around it is gonna be like, there's gonna be a road going through here around this, and then around, and then maybe not fully around. Like, for example, you're gonna have a road that's like square. I want it square for the most part. Be like, and then maybe like square this way, this way, this way. I don't know. Something like that. I want it square, so that it's just easy and not like too curved, so that the buildings are like straight lines and they're like 90-degree angles. So, but yeah, I think that's it for tonight. I think it was a good stream, building up this whole map here. We made good progress. We finished out the main structure size. So, let me save here. And quit. And also the mods did help nicely. It wasn't as laggy as it was last time. So more than 500 sold. I think you expanded a little more than 500. That's for, I mean, definitely more, but you know. But yeah, let me just thanks for watching. Thanks for checking out the VOD. All that stuff. It was a good time. So Alright, here we go. And let me just turn off the Vine Shroom here. There we go. But yeah, thanks for stopping by, and I wish you all a good night. I will try to do Pokemon Presents tomorrow. If either live or as a pre-recording, not pre-recording, but, you know, yeah, I guess it's pre-recorded, video up